This is TOS Television, your digital first Pan-African news network. I am Abigail Ukwade, and this is Africa Now. After the World Power meeting on Wednesday in Berlin, Libya's foreign minister said progress has been made on the removal of foreign fighters from the country, although the final communique from the UN-backed conference specified no concrete new measures. Since the 2011 NATO-backed uprising against then-head of state Muammar Gaddafi, Libya has had little stability, but a UN-led peace process brought a ceasefire in October last year. Addressing the Berlin meeting, Libyan Prime Minister Abdulhamid Dbeibah called on Libya's parliament to approve an election law to allow the December election go-ahead and to pass his government's budget. A court in Ivory Coast has sentenced former Prime Minister and rebel leader Soro in absentia to life in prison for plotting a coup against his former ally, President Alassane Ouattara. Soro, who is in exile in Europe with 19 of his supporters, were accused of conspiracy, attempt to undermine the authority of the state, as well as dissemination and publication of false news, discrediting the institutions and their operations, resulting in damage to public morale. In a published Twitter post, Soro says he totally rejects the unfair verdict, which have been handed down in violation of all the rules of law, which are solely based on political reasons. Now to security matters. Southern African countries on Wednesday have approved the deployment of troops in support of Mozambique to combat terrorism and acts of violent extremism in Cabo Delgado. Since breaking out in late 2017, violence has escalated in the gas-rich north of Mozambique, and there are fears that it could spill into neighboring countries. Specific operational details of the deployment of the South African Development Community Standby Force have not been offered. Suspected Al-Shabaab militants struck for the third day running in Mandera, northeast Kenya, early on Wednesday, killing a Kenyan police reservist and leaving two others injured. A rise in terror attacks in the region has grounded many operations in the expansive Mandera County over the last 2 weeks. Since Kenya took its troops to Somalia to join the fight against Al-Shabaab, the militant group several years ago, the region has not known peace. The largest solar plant in West Africa on Tuesday was inaugurated in Lomé, Togo. The 50-megawatt facility will provide power to more than 158,000 households and save more than 1 million tons of CO2 emissions. The project received more than $63.7 million in loans from the West African Development Bank and the Abu Dhabi Fund for Development. By the end of the year, officials hope the 127,344 solar panels will produce 90,255 megawatt-hour of power per year. This is your digital first Pan-African news network, TOS Television. You are watching Africa Now. We move to business after the break. Do stay tuned. Welcome back. In business, International Monetary Fund Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva has appealed for more relief to African countries to help them bounce back from the pandemic that resulted in slower growth, rising debt levels, and a shortage of COVID-19 vaccines. Africa is already falling behind in terms of growth prospects, she said, describing the situation as a human tragedy and an economic calamity. She adds that the best way to deal with debt is for economies to grow. In the wake of Tanzania's decision to opt for donor funding for mega projects, the World Bank has approved $292 million fund for infrastructure projects in Zanzibar. The funding will enable Zanzibar residents to benefit from reliable and affordable electricity, as well as modern water and transport infrastructure. Foreign donors had withheld funding in the wake of allegations of human rights violations and repressive government policies during John Magufuli's reign. To boost food security, productivity, nutrition, and resilience of small-scale farmers faced with climate change, South Sudan and the International Fund for Agricultural Development on Wednesday signed a $19.9 million project. To implement IFAD, an international financial institution, will be providing $1.9 million loan, 7.9 million grants and 4 million IFAD climate finance. South Sudan, on the other hand, will be providing $1.6 million plus $5.6 million from the African Development Bank as parallel co-financing and $0.8 million for the beneficiaries. Away from business, South Africa's health regulator says it will evaluate the data of China's Sinopharm COVID-19 vaccine documentation it received and assess the effectiveness of the shots. Now in the grip of a third wave of infections, South Africa has vaccinated just over 2 million people. That is 3.6% of its population, one of the world's lowest rates. To sports, the world-famous African race is back to Kenya's safari after nearly 2 decades of wait. The safari rally will begin on Thursday, June 24th and end Sunday, June 27th at the foot of Mount Kenya. The World Rally Championship was suspended from being hosted by FIA, a governing body of motorsports. And that is Africa Now. For more updates, to visit our website at www.TOS Follow us and like our social media handles on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And remember to subscribe on YouTube. To stay with us and enjoy more programs on TOS Television Network. I am Abigail Ukwade. Thanks for watching.